Hey guys, and welcome to the Natty Blueprint podcast. We are on return again. We have returned after a 2 week hiatus. Apologies, the podcast will be a little bit more regular now that Denny has finished up his competition season. So there's a lot to talk about today. We've also got a Q&A, but this is episode 27. Denny, first of all, mate, congratulations for your full kind of hard work over this kind of competitive season. I bet, it's nice to have a little bit of downtime now, a little bit of time to decompress. But how are
Yeah,
you feeling, mate?
pretty good. Yeah, I didn't actually, as I previously said to Max, I didn't actually make my decision immediately to call it end to prep. It was kind of a good few hours in the evening afterwards. But yeah, I'm pretty happy, albeit the result in terms of walking away with first call out wasn't there. But I enjoyed the day a lot better. Um, I actually think I just felt more confident. So for me, the first two shows that I've ever done, I couldn't really be any happier with them. Obviously, a first place would have been nice, but it wasn't meant to be. So yeah, I feel pretty good. Obviously, slightly different direction now. As I've said to a couple of people now, it is kind of that not slowing down, but a change of direction, I guess, and just trying to navigate that is the next challenge. But yeah, overall pretty good. My sleep's still pretty terrible. I can't lie. I was up at 4:45 this morning to dog shit in the kitchen as well, which was
Oh,
fun.
nice.
So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna wake up, have my first meal, go for a nice walk, and I was cleaning up
Dog shit.
mess first thing in the morning before the
Lovely,
sun rose.
lovely. Do you know
But yeah,
both your shows when we've come back home, the cats have been sick,
oh good.
and we came home on Saturday, and Baz had threw up on the bed, so we had to
Yeah,
like
no,
change all the bedding and stuff like that. And I was like, for fuck's sake, like literally not what we needed. Um,
no,
After a disappointing day. And I also dropped a meal as well. Did you hear about that?
I didn't know.
No, I dropped a glass container on the floor, literally pulled outside my house. I got out the car with my meal in my hand because we got back at like 6:30. My last meal was until 7. Just just threw it on the floor.
Nice.
And I
It's
was
fun.
like, sound. And then walked in the house and then walked upstairs to start sorting my clothes out and then loads of cat sick on the bed. And I was like, things come in threes, didn't they? They come in threes.
Yes. Well,
Um,
hopefully that's the bad luck over.
yeah, hopefully. Pray so.
Hopefully.
But anyway, like, I suppose we should probably touch on the WNBF show. I would say from like a coaching perspective, I noticed that you was a lot more calm that day. And I think that actually reflected a lot in your look. I
Yeah.
think you produced a better look for sure. You're a lot more you kind of you looked like you wanted to be up there, but with the first show, it was like I think there was so much nerves that you were like,
Yeah.
oh, like don't know
I
what
mean,
answer
I
should I
literally
pose
couldn't
you.
see on the first show. It was
Yeah,
blinding.
yeah. So I think like the way we managed the day as well was really good. You were super calm, even though you couldn't watch the show, which is
Yeah.
another thing. But yeah, it was a good day overall. It was nice to have so many people there supporting you as well. And it was just good kind of a good group of people there. But yeah, what was your kind of reflections on the show? How do you think you looked? What was your kind of thought process going into that?
Yeah, I mean, how I was on a day was enjoyable. Like, I just felt very present, which is kind of what I wanted to take away from that second show. Because the first show was very much like, I don't know how to feel. This feels very strange. I couldn't really take it in until after the fact. So it was a bit like I appreciated it in hindsight. But the second show, I felt pretty present across all of it. Um, yeah, I don't think there was a single moment. Maybe going home, it was a bit strange, but yeah, it was. I felt good. Obviously, we had a good group of people there. We had Sol, Ben, Billy compete as well. So there's four of us from our gym. So it was a nice big crowd there. And yeah, it was just a lot more relaxing. Again, it would have been nice to watch the show. I didn't watch anyone at all, apart from
You
the
couldn't,
people I was standing on stage with. Um, I won't go into that, but it is what it is.
unless you wanted to.
um, yeah. So yeah, like I was pretty happy with it. I felt good. I felt confident. I think I said to you backstage as well, which maybe I created a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. I was looking around, I was like, do you know what? I feel pretty good against these people. Whereas the first show, I don't know whether that was maybe how just because I felt more confident and I'd already done a show that had settled me a bit. But pumping up backstage, I was sort of looking around. I was like, I actually feel in the mix here. Is the only way I can describe it. I didn't feel like, oh no, I'm standing next to this person, which I did in the first show. And I said to Max, I was like, you know what's going to happen here. I feel good. I feel better. Like things have improved, and it's not going to go my way. And sure enough, it didn't. But that's just the way the cookie crumbles at the end of the day. And I wasn't like sad or annoyed or thinking about it. It was just that is bodybuilding. So
Yeah,
yeah, overall
it's
felt
tough,
pretty good.
isn't it? Like it's I've been in your position, right? I've been in a show where I haven't placed before, and you obviously put in a lot of effort, and then you come off stage and you're like you're deflated and disappointed. But it's just the way the cards fall on that day. And a lot of people ask me kind of what happened to your show, at your show, your second show, and I just said, you know, bodybuilding's a game of opinions at the end of the day, and you get marked against a criteria, and you know it's the judge's opinion on where they think you are. And sometimes that goes your way, sometimes it doesn't. And those things you can control. Obviously, you try to get as close to the criteria as you possibly can. But
Yeah,
at the end of the day, there might be people that the judges think that are better than you,
yeah,
and that's just bodybuilding. So yeah, I think it was a good day though. It was a nice day. Like I really enjoyed it, to be honest. Like until obviously when you came off stage and it was a bit disappointing and stuff. And but it that is just the case. Unfortunately,
yeah,
with bodybuilding, it happens. But
yeah.
yeah,
I
should we
mean, yeah,
talk about? Go on.
obviously we're going there to be competitive, and you're never going to be like, oh my god, I didn't place. That's so amazing. Like it's just one of those things you kind of have to get your head around it pretty quickly. So
Yeah, for sure. Everyone competes to win, right? Like you never
yeah,
compete to just be there and be a number. You compete because you want
yeah,
to be competitive. But yeah, someone's there's got to be a top five, and you know there is going to be people left out of that.
yeah. Hopefully we come sixth.
Yeah, I don't know. They haven't sent the scoring yet, have they, or anything like that?
Yeah,
They
had
do
nothing.
usually put out the scoring. So maybe, yeah, maybe you just got edged. Who knows? But we'll
Maybe.
obviously review that
Maybe I
when.
come stone cold last and then just not sending it to me.
Maybe your feedback's got lost with the audio, bro. But yeah, should
Uh,
we talk about obviously like your next steps moving forward? What's next for you?
so we're
Um,
gonna blast loads of gear.
let's do it.
So yeah, pretty much the roadmap is 2027 when I'll be standing on stage again, or at least that's the immediate plan. So it's just pretty much time to grow because I think from me looking at myself critically, as I guess an athlete now, I can call myself that. I do want to be more conditioned, and I think having more muscle is only going to benefit that, plus the experience of dieting. So yeah, shows for 2027 is the aim, the goal, and hopefully do better than this season just gone. So yeah, quite a way away, but I think it's important to have that kind of in place as opposed to just say, "Oh, I'm just going to grow now," because it's a bit vague.
Yeah,
So yeah, having a bit of direction definitely helps.
yeah, definitely. I think that was one thing that we nailed straight away is on the Saturday, we had a call at like 9 p.m. at night, just chatting about the direction forward, and I literally like set everything up so we knew we road mapped pretty much till 2027.
Yeah,
I think that was just highly important to make sure you know the direction. Gave you a Domino's. I said that was coach's orders, order a Domino's.
yeah,
But you know, as soon as you kind of said, right, that's kind of prep done. I'm happy. I'm confident with how I looked. It was,
yeah,
it's the job done. I don't want to push it for another couple of weeks. It was mainly about just getting that next goal, which I think is majorly important because a lot of people do struggle when it comes to coming out of prep. They yo-yo a lot,
yeah,
and it usually ends up being a really unproductive phase. So, have you found it challenging coming out of prep?
yeah. I mean, it's not easy. It's definitely easier than it was last time because obviously last time was a bit of almost like a forced end to a prep in a way. Whereas obviously this time it was a decision, like it was a calm and okay decision. So I think the main thing is just obviously we've gone straight back into a D volume. So as much as I want to just full send and tank the training. I can't, which is a little bit frustrating because there is a little bit more energy in there. I do feel like I probably could, but it's probably not productive. I trained legs on Tuesday and my legs are still sore, so
Yeah.
I haven't felt that for probably 3 months. So yeah, like it's like I know what I want to achieve and what I want to do in the next kind of 4 to 6 weeks and what I need to do that, but it's the main thing is just that kind of what feels like slowing down, which probably the most difficult thing for me to get my head around, which is like, okay, you've not got that pressure anymore. It's not quite there anymore. That immediate, right, okay, we're stepping on stage in 4 weeks' time, 8 weeks' time, whatever it is, because the end goal for me at the minute is 2027. It is a long time away, but yeah, it's just that kind of, well, I don't know how to explain it, kind of just that immediate sensation, I guess, that something's coming up very soon. It's just not there anymore. So yeah, so got to keep that screwed on
Keep the head.
as best as possible.
That's why people call it the post-show blues, mate.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
and yeah, and also from like a dopamine thing, and I think not a lot of people speak about this, and this kind of touches on one of the questions that I got. Obviously, first show, there's this buzz that you get from social media. Everyone's talking to you about prep, like, oh my God, it's like you feel on top of the world, almost a little bit invincible. Obviously, then it lulls off a little bit in between shows, then it picks back up again, and then you're kind of riding off a bit of a high for maybe 24, 48 hours post show because, like, it's like, oh, prep's over, like, this feels good, like, and then it's like, oh, okay, no one actually cares anymore, which is fine. No, because guess what? Nobody actually cares. Nobody cares what you're doing with your life, really. And it is that kind of drop in dopamine. Like, even though I don't like to be, but everyone is more or less a slave to social media, especially through our line of work. And when that drops off a little bit, you're like, okay, well, just back to normal life now.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah, it
that
is
is tough.
tough. But I think like obviously the kind of phase that we're in now is just get healthy. Like
Yeah,
that's the main thing. It might take a few weeks, it might take a few months. It is very person dependent on that. But
yeah,
get yourself in a good position, get some body fat on, which is also a mental battle in itself when you've had that switch going of I need to be leaner, I need to be leaner. To
yeah,
then now like okay, you need to transition away from thinking that and start to think I need to get healthier. And then obviously in an off season, it's like right, we need to push and be
yeah,
performance based.
yeah,
But yeah, like the initial kind of 4 to 6 weeks, I would say, is just get healthy, get a bit of body fat on, start getting training in a good position again. Like I said to you, like this is a perfect time to just reset anything that's got a little bit scrappy, just
yeah,
enjoy your training again, get better pumps. You haven't got that pressure of competing, so you can kind of reset a little bit in a way and then get ready for that kind of that big push in the off season, which it definitely will be. And I'm excited
yeah,
for it.
yeah,
I think, trying to take that routine, that structure, like the bodybuilding life to that next level, a prep will do that. And anyone who comes out of their first prep will realize that they will just excel in their bodybuilding process because they'll find that they are just so much more driven.
yeah.
The
You almost,
perfect example is like Tom Millington. Like the
yeah,
amount he's progressed is ridiculous. And at the end of the day, if you can take what you learnt in a prep and apply that to an off season, that's where you're going to make massive results and grow a lot of muscle.
yeah,
And that's where you see the most changes from people.
yeah, yeah. Especially because like as much as routine is there in an off season or pre prep, your routine just becomes like dialed in when you're on prep, and if you can carry that over post prep, which I think is pretty much there for me, like maybe not out of choice, but I'm still waking up pretty early, still going for my morning walks, etc. And that just helps with everything that you need to do in the day, including work as well. So it just helps everything.
Yeah, yeah. It's weird, isn't it? Like obviously, like now I'm how many weeks out am I? 14 on Sunday.
Yeah,
Like I just know my routine is just refined so much over the course of this prep. Like there is no way that I'm sleeping until 7:30 at the moment. Like
yeah,
5:30, I just naturally wake up and I feel good in the morning. That's probably the time I actually feel my best.
yeah,
But it's like right, okay, like get cracking with things that you need to do, and you just find that everything flows better. Like when I do check-ins, I just seem to be a little bit more kind of efficient with the whole process, and everything just flows a little bit nicer. So that kind of routine from a prep, if you can utilize that, and I'm not saying get up at 5:30 every morning in off season, you don't need to do that. You get up and still structure your routine around your daily work and your goals, but trying to take some of the elements of being a Mr. 100% for that prep and then bringing it into an off season.
Yeah, yeah. I do think that is a bit of not an underrated, because I think everyone sort of knows it but doesn't apply it. It's just get up early. Like, not stupidly early, like you said, but the chances of you getting up early and just being lazy in the morning is slim, as opposed to sleeping in, feeling groggy, feeling like you've wasted the day, not doing a lot in the morning, and then you leave all your work till the afternoon. Like, just get up early or get stuff done early. It doesn't necessarily have to be work related. It could be meal prep, it could be your steps. Get ahead. Like every morning now, I'm like 4 to 5k steps in by 7 a.m. and that just leaves me. They pretty much naturally happen across the rest of the day. There's no like, oh, gotta go do my steps. So just little things like that definitely help. So having that kind of routine is something that I try to get into my clients. They're like, oh, I'm constantly trying to get my steps in, or I can't get them in. I was like, tell me what your morning looks like. They tell me, and I was like, get up 30 minutes earlier. Doesn't have to be an hour, doesn't have to be 2 hours, just 30 minutes. Go out for a walk. You've boxed off potentially 3,000 to 4,000 steps there. And then you've got more time to meal prep, you've got more time to relax, you've got more time to chill with the family. Just get up early. Yeah. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I've always said routine's the backbone to your bodybuilding.
Yeah.
If you have a shit routine, best of luck being a bodybuilder.
Yeah, because it's all over the place.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult to manage. Very, very. And I also love being up early. Like, it's just so quiet, and like when I go for a walk, I don't see anyone, and I'm like, this is lovely.
There's a little bit around where I walk, and probably about halfway through, there's like a small pier that looks out in front of a bit of water, and every morning there's a heron sitting on it. And as soon as I walk past it, flies off. It's like this weird deja vu thing that I go through. But every morning that heron is just sat there, and as soon as I walk past him, he flies off, which is pretty cool. So yeah, just little things like that as well. Like, it's quiet, it's peaceful. You haven't got to speed to anyone. It's just a bit of time by yourself.
we're just so antisocial.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Like, just find a time where you don't have to speak to anyone and just abuse it.
I think because we're constantly talking to people like all day. If it's obviously me at work, I'm constantly talking to people at work, I'm constantly talking to clients, I'm constantly talking to people in the gym. Like, it's just nice to have that kind of your own time where you're just not talking to anyone. You can just chill and relax, and you don't even see anyone as well. Like, it's just it's like, I'm the only person on the planet right now.
I see one person. If I go for the walk at the right time, we cross paths at the same time, and it was like, morning, and that's it. Which is funny.
Lovely stuff. Should we move on to questions now? I won't bore anyone with my prep. No one cares about my prep, so.
No one cares about mine, bro. Not anymore.
Nothing's to update people, and I'm just 175 pounds soaking wet. So
he's a bit leaner than he was last time.
Yeah, a little bit leaner than last podcast.
Right, what we got? So I've got a question from Mr. Rosh Thomas. Sticking with men's physique or potential change in class for 2027? What do you think, Max?
Men's physique.
There we go. Physique. Unless my legs explode, which they're not going to, realistically.
Like, I think people say that because they see, you've got a decent side chest, you've got a decent back double, you've got a decent lat spread. And people are like, oh, he could do well in bodybuilding.
But I'm not a big person either. Let's be real.
I don't know. You've got big, like, there's big body parts, mate. Like, you'd show people up in a lot of areas. But I just think, like, in terms of your silhouette, it just fits men's physique quite nicely. And I think as well, you've naturally you've just gravitated towards that.
Yeah.
Like, you picked up the posing very well. It just seems to fit you very nicely. So unless, we get to 2027, we might go, fuck it, let's do bodybuilding, let's jump in and see what happens.
Yeah.
I would just stick with men's physique.
I've got a question for you. How do you, for example, men's physique is very, very different to any sort of other bodybuilding in terms of the posing, the look. What's your thoughts on people that do both and do well in both on the same day? I know they are technically posing differently, but their
Yeah,
structure is their structure at the end of the
I
day.
yeah, I think that if they're just the best in that class in both classes, then
Yeah,
fair enough, and they can pose it well. A lot of men's physique is obviously, yes, a lot of it is shape, a lot of it is your structure. Nice midsection, small waist, wide clavicle width. But if you can still have that and be a bodybuilder,
yeah,
but just have big legs, right? So it, to me, I think that you should find your class. Like, I think in amateur ranks you'll see it a lot, right? You'll see that kind of transfer of people being able to do multiple classes like bodybuilding, classic, men's physique.
yeah,
But I think as you go up the ranks, you will not see. Like, you couldn't put, for example, an assisted bodybuilder, an IFBB pro open bodybuilder in a men's physique show,
because
right?
it just wouldn't look right. Because
It
it's a bit
wouldn't
more
look right.
freaky. Yeah,
Yeah. So I think there is that the diversion there or diversion there. So I think when it comes down to the natural ranks, and obviously there's less tissue compared to the
yeah,
assisted guys. Obviously,
yeah.
it can happen
The
a little bit
lines
more.
get blurred a little bit more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I have heard from some shows that if you are going to cross the classes, usually the judges will see you as one class, right? Sometimes it does happen where you do well in both, and fair play. That's fucking awesome that you've
yeah,
pretty much cleaned up. But I think as you progress, you will pick a class and you'll have to stick in it.
yeah,
So that's my thoughts there on that.
yeah. So men's physique forever is me.
I just like I've a funny story. I don't know if we've ever spoke about this in the podcast, but in the back end of 2023, I spoke to Denny and I was like, I think you'd be very good at men's physique. And this was before Denny could even pose, before I really even saw his physique. I just could tell, like,
It's when I didn't used to track any food.
yeah, I could just tell, like, just I think you were wearing like a vest on the day, so I obviously saw your kind of silhouette. And I
Yeah,
went up to him and I said, hey, look, like, you should probably maybe consider
link in
competing at
bio
some
for
point.
coaching.
Yeah, I was like, link in bio, bro. Sign up now. I was literally getting my application form and I was like, sign up, bro. Oh, no, I wasn't like that. I wasn't completely jumping down his throat. But I did say to him, I was like, I think you'd do well in men's physique. I think you've got the good structure for it. And took you a few weeks and you were like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
So
I think initially you said, "Oh, like maybe just do a photo shoot to begin with, and then see how you get on." I was like, "Photo shoot, not really too keen on
it's
that."
because you've never been lean before. That was
Yeah,
like,
like I
I always think,
dieted and maybe lost like 10 kilos, and that was from when I was massively out of shape. I think that might have even been when you approached me. Like I was maybe, I think, was it in the summer? Maybe it was after.
yeah,
I
you
can't
just
remember.
finished up a diet.
Yeah,
And
so
I remember just looking at your silhouette and I was like, you'd be good
and
in men's
stick.
physique. Men's
Here
physique.
we are.
And I think this is something that people struggle with when it comes to picking their classes, and they kind of just go for the class that they like the look of rather than what actually suits their physique.
Yeah,
But actually get someone who understands the criteria of every single class. So if you're going
yeah,
to a coach, make sure that coach knows the criteria of that class,
yeah,
because I think it can be they can go, oh, I really like, men's physique, but you might be a bodybuilder. You might have a wider waist,
yeah,
right? And so you're not men's physique, so if you are going to compete, you need to analyze your physique and probably have someone who's got an experienced head to analyze your physique and go, actually, mate, I think you're in this class rather than this class. I think you suit this one better.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
yeah.
Yeah,
Should we
man.
move on?
Next one. This one's from a typical question from him. James likes it hard, Linford. If you had a gym pin up your ass, how much weight could you reckon you could hold on it?
Not a lot.
I'm
Not
not
a
answering
lot.
that one, James.
2.5, maybe 2.5 kilos.
Kilos? I mean, it's
I
pretty
mean, how
hefty still.
how much is going to do some damage?
I mean, you've got to get the gym pin there to begin with.
No, they're not that wide.
Yeah, but it's still.
It would
Just,
still hurt, but
yeah.
I'm thinking like,
Max is like, I've done this before.
yeah, it's what, like the width of that, like a pen.
I mean, yeah, but it's got some length to it.
You don't have to put the full thing in. Just a tip, bro.
The more that goes in, the more grip it's got.
Yeah, I think anything over 2.5 tearing you a new one.
There we go.
Surpassing the yield strength on that.
Stefano has asked what main areas the judges said to improve. I don't know because I haven't had my feedback yet. But it's probably a little bit more condition, a little bit more presentation, and yeah, I guess that's probably it.
Yeah, I think the main things that we've set out within the off season is developing your abs, making sure you've got like a nice kind of blocky midsection. I think a lot of that though is because you've got good abs when you're on them.
Yeah,
So I think a lot of that is just that mind to
presentation.
muscle connection. And
Yeah,
I remember speaking to you a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, when you train your abs, do you feel them? And you were like, no, not really. And I was like, okay, that's a problem. That's what we need
yeah,
to address.
well, yeah,
Then we're obviously going for a little bit more chest, and I think lower lats as well.
yeah,
But I think that's what we'll nail for 2027 is, grow a little bit more in certain areas, make sure that the posing is 100% spot on in terms of just getting on that midsection and having good control, which I
yeah.
will like outright say your presentation for your second show was so much better. Like you were on your abs a lot more. Like UKFBA, I don't think you even touched your ab once. Like
Maybe as I walked out, and that was about it.
yeah, but no, for the WNBF, you're on them. It's just I think you can get on them a bit harder.
Yeah,
So there's things there. I would like to actually try and see if you could do like vacuums and learn how to vacuum as well.
I've tried, bro. Like I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a mental block because I've never seen the progress on it, so I sort of half-ass it towards the end.
Yeah,
Like I've gone through phases where I'm like, I'm gonna learn how to vacuum, and I just can't.
can't do it. Have you tried like? I know it sounds weird, but like bending over on a table and doing it, or
I've
lying on the
tried.
floor.
I've looked at all the tutorials. I've tried on the floor. I've tried bending over. I've tried against a kitchen counter.
No, no,
First thing
silver.
in the morning, like just
Yeah.
not
So
there.
again, like there's things we need to work on. So I think that being able to control the midsection like that as well. I'm not saying you're going to
Yeah,
vacuum in men's physique, but it's that
yeah,
ability to control it.
yeah.
Um,
Which then means you can feel it more, therefore
yeah.
hold it
'Cause
more on stage.
when I tense my abs, I think I've told you this before. I can tense my abs up or I can tense them down.
Yeah,
Like I can do either. So I think just getting that engagement, but that'll come through training and stuff. So
yeah,
that's what I'd say. And I think when you get feedback, it'll be very, very similar, probably.
yeah. Hopefully, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows? I think that's me done with questions.
I've got a question from Connor Young. He says, what to do to increase your sleep quality? Idea for someone who works night shifts.
Stop working night shifts. That's my advice.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough
Yeah.
to manage.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, night shifts are less than ideal, depending on what they are and how long they are. I did it for a brief period, and it sucks. Like, I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it should. Obviously, depending on the line of work, you maybe don't have a choice. But yeah, it's kind of just do what you would if you wasn't on night shifts in terms of the routine. Obviously, depending on your days off, that might not be possible. Let's say you have 3 days off in a week or two, it is going to screw up the routine a little bit because you're not expected to be a bat on your days off as well, like, and just avoid the sun. But things that you can do, like blackout blinds, earplugs, eye mask, have a solid routine on those days that you are working. Supplementation, just make sure, like, it's called sleep hygiene, and just make sure everything's nailed there. So time that you go to bed, time that you wake up, your environment that you sleep in, make sure you're not too hot, too cold. Don't eat too close to when you go to bed. I know Connor is a bodybuilder in himself, and he probably eats a lot of food as well. So try not to have too much food close to bedtime. Yeah, that's probably about it. What I've got
You've
there.
you've pretty much nailed it.
Yeah,
I have a few clients who work like night shifts or just irregular shift patterns, and it is tough to obviously manage. A couple of things I'd probably add is like if if you're on like dedicated night shifts every single week and you've got that routine there, you can then base your routine around that. So
Yeah.
like a kind of normal working structure would just be flipped. Um, I would just say avoid caffeine as well, like 6 hours before bed. But
Yeah.
if your routine is changing, so for example, one day of the week you're on a night shift, the next, like a couple of days after, you're on a day shift, and you're constantly having to flip that, you're going to have to basically prepare how you're going to manage that throughout the week, right? So if you
Yeah.
get your shift pattern a week before, you know what shifts you're doing, you know what days you can flip that routine over, and things like just trying to flip that routine over, but maybe not in one go. That's what I found a lot of clients do, or they try and do, is they go, oh, I'm working a night shift tomorrow, so I'm just going to try and nap until, you know,
Yeah.
6 p.m. and then I'll go train and then I'll do my
Yeah.
night
Like the
shift.
body doesn't work like that.
No, you can't
There's a
flip it
slow
that.
transition. It's
Yeah,
basically like going from country to country in terms of time zones.
yeah,
Like you're not just going to go to a new time zone and be like, oh, this is the time zone now. Like there is a delay essentially. So don't expect to suddenly change it. And be like, okay, well, we'll be fine now because you're probably going to feel pretty crap.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Sleep quality, for anyone as well, I'd say make sure your bed is somewhere you sleep and it's not somewhere you're just doing multiple other things. Uh,
Yeah. You should
but what I mean by
associate
that
you
is like,
getting into bed with sleep and nothing else,
yeah, yeah, just
unless
try and
some extracurricular activities in there.
yeah, maybe one or two extracurriculars. But for the you know, don't get in bed and scroll on TikTok or Instagram for half an hour. Like
Yeah.
another thing I'd also say is limit blue light.
Yeah.
This is something I swear by. I've had blue light blockers now for 6 years, and I don't know if it's my subconsciously, but when I put them on, I feel like my eyes get tired. I feel like I'm ready for bed, and I don't know if it's me subconsciously telling my body like, "Hey,
Yeah, I
look,
mean, there's probably two ends to it. It's actually working, and much like it is with just routine, your body's like, okay, well, these are on now. It's time to unwind,
yeah,
and you probably do just decompress a little bit the moment you do put them on, because in your subconscious and conscious mind, you know it's getting close to bedtime.
yeah."
So yeah, if it works, it works.
Yeah, I swear down by them. Honestly,
Yeah,
like if anyone wants like a pair of blue light blocking glasses, just go on Amazon. I would recommend Swan Rick. They're a little bit pricey, like 120 quid for a pair, but they're not as kind of expensive as like Ra Optics, who are
yeah,
like double that. Um, don't buy the shit ones on Amazon where you look like you're going onto a building site. Like actually get some good blue
yeah,
light blocking glasses that are gonna block blue light. You know, people struggle with that a lot. I've seen a lot of people wear those kind of gladiator ones or the the Terminator ones, and I'm like, they're
yeah.
literally doing fuck all,
Doing nothing, yeah.
doing
Another
nothing.
thing, just get off your phone a little bit, like just
Yeah,
from a mental stimulation. Because obviously everything that we do on our phones now, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, it's very fast paced. And I was reading a study on it. I can't remember who said it. It might have even been Andrew Huberman, but the brainwave activity when we're on something like a Reels page or a TikTok page, it's obviously your brain doesn't actually know that that's a screen. It's just a visual. And in nature and in the wild, like when we're looking at things, there's a slow transition from subject to subject. But when you're watching something on your phone, one reel might be something about animals. You scroll down, then suddenly it's cars crashing. Then the next one, it's your brain is just like going absolute haywire, which is not a natural thing, and it can make it very, very difficult for you to just switch off because your brain's going from one topic to another without any break in between.
yeah,
So get off your phone, or at least those sorts of apps where it's very fast paced and change of direction.
yeah. Which
Put a
is hard to
podcast
follow
on,
with social media.
yeah. But yeah, it's hard. So
Another thing I do as well. This sounds really a bit weird, but I'm very picky with what I watch because a lot of the TV that I watch is before bed, right? Like I'll
yeah,
watch an hour, maybe hour and a half before bed, and I don't want to watch something that's gonna stress me out or irritate me. You know those TV programs where you're just constantly like,
yeah,
why is he doing that? And like it winds you up, and I'm like, okay,
yeah.
this is not beneficial. So again, just watch something that's super easy to watch.
Yeah, so don't watch your football team before bed, basically.
Oh, football's the worst for it, man. You know, I've had like the worst night's sleeps after football. I struggle to switch off when Chelsea have been
Luckily,
playing.
I don't take football that seriously, so even if Arsenal
Still
get
grind my
tanked,
gears.
like I'm like, oh well.
Still grind. Oh yeah, I forgot to say, Chelsea had a better season than Arsenal.
I mean, did they?
Well, yeah. How many trophies did you win?
Yeah. Where did you finish in the league?
Look, you've got a Declan Rice free kick to remember about this season, and that's it.
Yeah. Oh well. Better luck next
Um,
year.
we'll see next year. We've got Liam Delat now.
Have you?
Yeah,
We've got Zubamendi.
Zubamendi.
Yeah.
I think if you bought a proper striker, you'd be pretty mint.
Yeah.
Like
We're
if you
looking
got a
at.
Gyökeres or a Shesko, I think you'd be
Yeah.
pretty mint.
Yeah. So there's those two and potentially Rodrigo. I don't know how realistic that is.
Yeah, I
Um.
don't know if he wants to leave Madrid or if he's just saying it because he wants to be played.
Yeah. Probably.
Every fucking club's been linked to Rodrigo at the moment.
Yeah.
James Likes It Hard Linford has asked, which federation do you think has the best shows in the UK?
I think you can answer that one.
In terms of consistency and running, I'm going to say you have to say PCA is probably up there, right? Because they put on the most shows in the UK.
Yeah. I
I
think
don't
the
know if you've seen their
production
show
just looks
list,
better
but
as
it's
well.
ridiculous.
What's that?
The PCA show list is ridiculous. Like the
Yeah.
amount of shows that they run, and no one really has anything bad to say. I've never been to a PCA show where they've been severely behind or anything like that. So I think you've got to kind of shout to them. And also, with their putting on more natty shows now and stuff like that, like they're reading the audience, right? They're reading what
Yeah.
people want. UKFBA as well, always brilliant. They seem to always have everyone ready at the right time.
Yeah.
I've never been to a PCA show, a UKDFBA show that's been severely delayed. Yeah, I think for Natties that's probably the
Yeah.
two where I'd say they have good venues as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like, especially for a first timer, because the UKDFBA was my first timer show. Being a first timer, it's all very brand new, and I do think it was managed to the point where you're like, okay, I don't feel completely out of depth. Like when I was backstage, even when they was kind of like calling you out, like as a first timer, they knew you as a first timer as well. Whilst it's not there to sort of babysit you, but there is a bit of like, right, do you know what you're doing? This is what you're gonna do. Like there's a bit more reassurance there, which is good.
yeah.
Like
And do you know
as a
what I
first
thought
timer,
was
it's important.
you know what I thought was really good from Lee in that show is they brought you all out on stage first, and then
Yeah,
they made you go back, and then they
yeah,
did 5 man and 5 man, and I think
yeah,
that is such a good thing to do because
yeah,
at the end of the day, it's so new to you that initial walking out under the lights is so daunting. But to get that process out the way and then to go send you back, you've already, in your head, you're like, right, I've done that now.
yeah,
I can now focus on what I need to focus on
yeah,
for when I'm being
yeah.
compared.
And just
Um,
how like he was like speaking to the crowd, he was like, right, this is these guys' first time on stage, show them a bit of love, support,
yeah,
like just that acknowledgement, and it does definitely ease you, because you're like, okay, he's now telling everyone that this is potentially my first time, and therefore that kind of pressure drops off a little bit. So yeah, I think that was a nice little touch.
yeah, it's a class act. So yeah, the only thing I will say is like I wish more shows were in theatres.
Yeah,
That's the only thing. Like obviously the Ben Halls, it's a good venue. Like I think you got some really cool photos out of it.
yeah,
It has good lighting, but it is a hall at the end of the day. So I think like a theatre always produces good lighting. Like the best ones that I've been to is like the BNBF. They always do all their stuff in theatres, and it is very very nice.
yeah,
But yeah, the lighting's got to be spot on, and the background has got to not be bright. Like it needs to be a darkish background,
yeah,
and it always gets the best photos. If you've got loads of bright light behind the athletes, tends to look a bit wishy washy.
yeah,
So yeah, but that'd be my answer. No hate to any other feds. Compete in all of them and find your favorite one. I mean, it's different for everyone, right? It is
yeah. Everyone
their
has
show
a
experience is
slightly
different.
different experience.
Yeah, exactly. Abigail was asked, what was your biggest craving through prep? She's our boy.
Craving energy was my craving.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know really. I wouldn't say there was like this distinct want. I mean, probably just more carbs spread throughout the day was my
Yeah,
craving. Because obviously in prep, like there are going to be times when you've pretty much either got carbless or carb low meals. It's just nice to have them not evenly spread because I still prioritize pre and post, but to go to bed in the evening and be like, okay, well I've got a decent amount of carbohydrates going in the evening. Yeah, I guess that's there's no like one thing I was like, oh my god, I miss X, Y, like because I'm still eating pretty much the same food. So
yeah, yeah. I don't really have like this. I've been in prep now for there'll be 15 weeks on Monday, and I just haven't once thought, oh, I'm dying for this, or like it's really like I've never had this in a prep before where I've been so calm about food. Like
yeah,
sometimes I want to joke about putting my food on my story and just be like, I don't know, food focus so high. And I'm like, it's not because my food looks horrendous,
yeah,
but I just don't care. Like I don't make my food look pretty at all. I think I've completely switched off, and I think that just comes in time as well. The more you do it, the less you
yeah.
kind of focus around food. Um, Abigail's also asked, favorite place to eat out in Ashford. She's planning on visiting.
Ugh. Is there anywhere decent in Ashford? I mean, there's some nice like local pubs. Maybe
Yeah.
not in Ashford. Trying to think, where did I go the other week? I actually took Tupperware with me. It's in Maidstone. I can't remember where I went.
Where in Ashford? Maidstone?
Yeah, it was on the way to Maidstone.
Have you gone
Um,
to? Oh no, you wouldn't have. But they opened a Korean cowgirl in Ashford now.
oh yeah, no, they have, haven't they? Yeah. So that might be a go-to because the one in Canterbury was good.
Yeah, yeah, that might
Yeah.
be that might be a spot for the
Stubbs is pretty
indie
decent.
meat. Yeah, Stubbs is good. Stubbs
Um,
is good. Um, Everest is quite good. The curry place.
yeah, that's good.
But yeah, like personally for me, I if I go out with like if me and Kate go out for a meal, we kind of like to venture a little bit elsewhere because we've been to these
Yeah,
places in Ashford so many times.
yeah.
So
There is. I haven't been. I've heard decent. I think it's still open. There's a steakhouse,
this is
Buenos Aires
Argentine
Steakhouse.
ones.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's supposed to be quite nice.
yeah. It depends what you're into, if I'm honest.
Yeah,
A lovely place that I went to on Valentine's Day, or the week before Valentine's Day, was a place called Teepees. So, fellas,
TPs.
if you're looking for a place to take your missus next Valentine's Day, go to Teepees because it was
Good,
really, really good. It was like
nice.
obviously a big teepee, but it's like a wedding. Um, in the summer they do weddings there,
Okay,
but in the winter they open it up and then put like indoor fires in this teepee place.
nice.
And they serve like really, really good food. Like we had like a steak sharing platter, and it was banging. It was spot on.
Yeah, yeah. You can't go wrong with steak.
No. Also, it's good like for bodybuilders, right? Like
Yeah, because you can
steak and
pretty much
chips.
stay on plan with it. Just
Yeah,
steak, veggies,
yeah, and then
maybe.
some chips. Like
Yeah,
that's
and it's not
mm.
going to be too crazy.
Yeah. When it's like all you can eat stuff, like all you can eat sushi, that's when it's hard to manage.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing I don't like sushi because I'd probably be there all the time.
That's a massive shout that you don't like sushi, by the way.
I don't mind fish. Like I'll eat salmon, I'll eat tuna, but I just don't eat a lot of it. And the thought of sushi, how it's presented, I don't know what it is about it, just sort of throws me off a bit.
Yeah. Last time I had sushi was in my pre-prep diet, and it gave me food poisoning.
And that's another reason. Like it's raw food. There you
Um,
go.
Dylan Chadwick, DC, has asked, um, what are your most improved body parts from your previous prep slash shows? I suppose you can say from last year to this year.
Um, Chest, I guess, is
Yeah,
somewhat
chest
improved.
definitely.
I think I just grew a little bit everywhere,
Yeah,
so I was just a bit fuller. Um,
I
See,
think
I
that
wouldn't say there was
16
like one area like,
centimeters.
oh my God, like he's morphed into a new person because it wasn't.
I don't know. Your chest disappeared a little bit last year.
I, I mean, my chest looks okay now. I do think with the change of posing, it definitely helped that. That photo that I just posted, like my chest looks
Pretty good.
pretty full.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's one particular area where I'm like, yeah, that massively improved. Personally. What about you?
I would say my arms and my delts. They're still not like great,
Yeah.
but they're a lot better than what they were.
Yeah. You had
Like
quite a
I
big
can
focus on that in your last
massive
push up, didn't you?
focus,
Yeah.
massive focus. But yeah, like I can hit some shots now where I'm like, hey, it doesn't look too bad. Like my side chest, I don't actually mind my side chest now.
Okay.
Even to the point where I'm practicing it, like kneeling on the floor. I put that on my story earlier today
Hey, yeah, I
uh,
saw that. Yeah.
for my routine. So I'd say definitely like my chest, delts, and arms have improved, but they're still not quite where I'd like them to be. And if
Yeah.
they'll ever get there, because I think that's just genetic.
Yeah.
But
Everyone's got a
I
strong.
would say as well my glutes.
Yeah.
My glutes are a lot bigger than what they were last time round.
That's that AJ Morris programming.
Yeah, that's AJ. Well, to be fair, like I'd probably do 2 sets of glutes every 10 days.
Okay.
I just think naturally I'm like when I leg press, I feel a little bit of my glutes.
Yeah.
When I hip hinge, it's like my glutes are on fire. Like I think I just connect well with my glutes, and so they've just responded well. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely shown now because I did not have striated glutes at this body weight last
There
time
we
round,
go.
and now my glutes are. I can see them. I can see the striations coming.
Men's bikini coming up.
Ah, I mean, I just need a reverse of men's physique where you wear a t-shirt. Then I might actually
Uh,
be competitive.
there you go.
Jack Edward has asked, shaving slash skincare pre-show routine.
Exfoliate a few days, well, leading into the show. Not too close to the show because you don't want to aggravate your skin. Again, I'm not a seasoned veteran at this. I've only done it twice, so I didn't seem to have too many mishaps. So yeah, exfoliate. Try and look after your skin in general. It's something that has actually improved across my body because I used to have pretty bad acne, whether it be through diet, stress, or just predisposition to it. But the skin on my body is just much better. So just try and look after it in multiple different ways. Trim your body first, maybe leave it a day, then shave it. Be pretty thorough with it. I did have quite a few ingrown hairs on the backs of my legs, I can't lie, which
Do you
was,
use a razor?
yeah.
Oh, I see. I just use a Phillips One blade.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I take the
Yeah.
guard off the Phillips One blade and I just take that down to the skin. Because
Okay.
obviously then like there's still like a very, very minor bit of hair, but
Yeah.
it depends how hairy you are. Like
Yeah,
if you're
like
really hairy,
I'm
then
not particularly hairy apart from on my legs, so it wasn't too much of a graft. But it does still take a long time because you've got to cover the
yeah,
whole body. Whether you're doing it with a razor or an electric one, you're still doing your entire body.
yeah, it takes a
Um,
while, doesn't it?
so yeah,
I dread
yeah, and
it.
then when it comes to the tan, like getting close to it, obviously don't put any scented stuff on because it can spoil it. Just be careful when you piss when you've got the
Yeah,
tan as well, because if you make a mess, it's gonna show.
yeah, yeah. Be careful, lads and girls. That's why they get the
Yeah, shiwi.
Shiwi. That's it. That's what it's
Yeah,
for. Yeah,
there you go.
take care of your skin. Use decent products, and then stop using scented shower stuff. I've stopped using that from like 2 days out before.
Yeah, I've actually just continued buying it to be fair because it just feels better on my skin.
Yeah, and like I don't know about you, but I just wear aftershave anyway, so it doesn't really
Yeah,
matter if it's scented or not. It's
yeah,
like as long as I'm clean, then it doesn't matter. So just wear
exactly.
aftershave.
Yeah,
Yeah, cool. That is me done for questions.
I think that
I
is
don't
me
think I
also.
have
Let me double
any
check. Anyone
more
else?
that have come in.
Oh, there was one that someone DM'd me. Let me go back to that. So this is from Nino. Shout out Nino.
Big Nino.
In regards to prep, what were some of the most challenging side effects of being extremely low body fat that people rarely talk about? For instance, did it affect your mental clarity, brain function in any noticeable way? I would say that's probably the biggest one. Is not it makes it sound like dementia, but like a bit of a cognitive decline at certain times of the day. Like your ability to focus isn't always there. Something that I noticed quite a lot would just be obviously the line of work that I'm in. My priority is clients and to talk to people. I found it quite difficult towards the end to keep talking to people that weren't clients through socials, meeting up. Like, I just didn't have it in me to keep that kind of level of, I guess, commitment to a conversation. So whether that be friends, but obviously your friends will hopefully understand, and as long as you communicate that to them, like it's not personal, but sometimes it can be like, oh my God, I've got to reply to this person. I don't quite have it in me. Energy dips that seemingly come out of nowhere. You can feel great in the mornings. It's something like when I used to check in with you, like it'd be like, oh, how do you feel in the morning? It's like I typically feel okay in the morning, and if I didn't, I knew it was going to be a rough day. But it wouldn't be until maybe 5, 6 p.m. that you just feel like lead.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can describe it. And then for me personally, I don't think it gets talked about a lot. I don't think this is a massive one. I think there are ways of working around it. It's just sex drive. Like mine just it still hasn't come back. I can't lie. It's just not really there, and it's male, female. Obviously, there are different avenues for that, but some people I've heard that it doesn't take a dip at all, and some people it does. And maybe that is not just from a hormone perspective. Maybe that is literally just it's just not on your mind because it's not what you're focused on. I think people get it a little bit twisted when like, oh, I've got no sex drive because my testosterone is low. It's like, no, you're probably just not that interested in it in a minute because it's not a priority. And that's just how it is.
Yeah, people like forget that they're stressed because they're competing. They've got a big kind of goal on hand, and you're low on energy as well. Like, so
Yeah,
it's the last thing you think about when you're low on energy. Like, regardless, all the like when you're super super tired, are you thinking like even in off season? Are you thinking, oh yeah, like I'm ready to go? Like,
yeah,
no, not really.
yeah.
You're thinking,
Sometimes
oh
what you want to do is just go to sleep because you're
yeah,
tired.
yeah. So it's like that kind of permanently. Did you ever get like lightheadedness?
I mean, there was a couple of times I'd get like dizzy spells if I stood up too quick. I had that one instance where I had like what I can only describe as a migraine, as I've
Yeah,
never really experienced migraines, which pretty much debilitated me for like 4 hours. I woke up, felt fine. I don't know whether it's dehydration, but I woke up in the morning, felt fine, went to the shop, and then like my eyes went a bit blurry. There was like kind of strobing bits across my eyes. I just had to go to sleep for like 3 hours.
yeah.
So yeah,
That's what I'm starting to run into now. Just
oh
like a
really?
lot of lightheadedness. Yeah, like even in the gym, if I get off a leg press too quick, I'll stand up and I'll be like, whoa, like I'll have to hold something.
Yeah,
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 so that's the kind of phase I'm in at the moment. I suppose as well. Well, a lot of people talk about it, but your sleep
yeah.
is
Another
just
one for
earlier and
me,
earlier.
not that I struggled with. Obviously, training is something that we enjoy. It's just that aggression and that like I can't wait to train feeling
Yeah,
because you're like, oh, this is going to be tough sometimes, and maybe you find yourself a little bit wishy-washy between sets, which is something that I didn't enjoy because I was like, I need to be productive here because I'm trying to do a job, but kind of finding yourself taking a bit too long between sets or just having to amp yourself up. It is quite mentally fatiguing to do that on top of already being mentally
yeah.
fatigued.
Did you
Um,
find like with your training, when you'd go for like a grind, like a big grinder rep, it's just not there.
yeah,
Like
it's
you
just
would
literally like,
attempt it, but you haven't got the energy
to
to
maintain
then
that, to
to like
keep it moving.
yeah
Yeah,
keep it moving. So usually sometimes when you're heavy or when you've got a lot of food going and you've got that energy to really really push through. And maybe if the rep stops halfway, you still can you've got that extra oomph to then.
yeah,
But yeah, some like in a prep when you get lean, that
yeah.
as soon as it stops, you pretty much know it's going back down.
Yeah, especially when you know you're doing a big compound as well. You're like, oh fuck.
Yeah, yeah. The
You're
amount
like,
of times.
I need to get another rep here. I'm not sure it's there. I'm gonna go for it, and then it just doesn't move.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is the
So yeah,
tough
I'd
part.
say those would be some that obviously some are quite common there, but also some don't get spoke about.
Yeah, yeah. I just like from my perspective, I think you suffer from sleep a lot,
Yeah, yeah,
and
and
I know
it's
that because I was getting check-ins at fucking 5:15 in the
yeah, and
morning.
sometimes I would just sit there and wait a bit because I knew it's like if I send it now, I'm then just going to be waiting for the plan of action. Especially when I was checking in daily, so I was like, I'm just going to leave it a little bit
Yeah.
until I send things over.
Do you know what's
Which
so weird is because you were checking in at like 5:30 in the morning, I would naturally wake up
yeah,
at like 5:25. So
yeah,
all your check-ins, it literally took me like as soon as I got it, I was open like
Yeah.
straight on it.
Yeah.
And it was so like it just. But now, like I can, it's still waking up around 5:30 every day, but
Yeah.
it's just so weird how like I'm using an alarm now to wake up at 5:30, but when
Yeah.
you're in
I mean, I
peak,
can message you in the morning if you want.
no, please don't.
Hey Max,
Yeah,
how's it going?
please don't. Do you know what? I said it to Kate, and I was like, I don't know how to say this without sounding a bit like, I don't know, a bit kind of off, but like when you are in a prep and you're dealing with other people's preps as well, like I'm kind of looking forward now to this next like 6 weeks where I can just like really concentrate on myself, because it's like it
Yeah.
is tough trying to manage it
Yeah, definitely.
from a coaching perspective,
Yeah.
but
Obviously, you've got that pressure on yourself, and you've also got that pressure of like, oh shit, I need to look after someone else. Not look after, but it's at the end of the day, it's your not reputations online. That's probably the wrong word. Like, is my success, if we're using me as an example, is a direct reflection of your success. So you can't, in your head, you're like, oh, I need to be on this, and obviously that can not take away, but cause an extra stress. For example,
yeah,
having to wake up because you're like, oh shit, Denny's checked in because he's on daily check-ins.
yeah,
I need to respond. So
yeah,
yeah, it is a little bit of
yeah.
pressure.
It's a lot of people don't actually talk about it, like when a coach puts a client on stage, like if you care as a coach, you will literally like want to do everything in your power to make that client look their best. And
Yeah,
like it is, because I was speaking to Dan and the other day because he was giving me a massage, and I was like, "Was you nervous when Soul was on?" And he was like, "Yeah, like I was shitting a brick." And I was like,
yeah,
I literally remember the first time I ever put a client on stage.
yeah,
Like when I put Bruno on stage back in 2020, mate, I was sat there like shaking because I was
yeah,
like so nervous. But
yeah. Because it's a joint effort at the end of the day. Like you're both working hard to get whatever you want out of it. So yeah, there's gonna be those nerves in there.
yeah, and it is interesting because as a coach, you do absorb the stress as well. Like I think for your first show,
Yeah,
I absorbed a bit of your stress because I knew you were stressed, so I was like, right, try and calm down, try and calm. But then you end up just absorbing all of the
yeah,
client stress as well.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, for your second show, I was so calm.
Yeah, in fact, I was be like, do you need to do your steps? Like, just go. Like,
Yeah,
it's
just
fine.
go,
I'm
go do
chill.
your steps.
He's like, I'm gonna
Um,
go here, and I knew you was kind of. I was like, you good? I was like, I'm chill, mate. You do what you need to do.
yeah, I could tell that. I was like, I'll keep checking in on him, make sure he's all right.
Yeah,
But I was like, as long as he
yeah,
knows what he's doing and he's got his feet up, I don't care. Just chill.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that's probably a good point to end the podcast. One last thing as well. I looked at our analytics on this podcast, and 28% of people who watch this podcast are not subscribed. So if you're
Scumbags.
part of that 28%, sort it out.
Sort it out, mate.
Yeah, sort it
It
out.
might take
Anyway,
us to 100 subs,
yeah, come on. Look. We
and
said
then
we are
you
going to do
could
a
win
giveaway.
something.
We'll do a giveaway. 100 subs.
There we go. Right,
All right,
let's
guys.
wrap it up
Thank
here
you.
because I need to pee really badly.
All right, I'm going to wrap it up. Hope everyone has enjoyed this podcast for episode 27. If you have, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share. And we will catch you in the next one. And Denny's going to go for a wee. Peace.